Your Excellency, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, good morning. Today, I will walk you through a historical review of Ethiopia's mining and petroleum sector, where we've come from, what we've learned, and how those lessons are shaping the future we are now building. Ethiopia is rich with mineral and petroleum resources. Vast deposits are distributed throughout the country. But natural wealth alone is not enough. To truly understand its value, we must look at how the sector has evolved over time. In this presentation, I will walk you through 4 political eras, highlighting the key policy shifts in each and how those decisions directly impacted the sector's performance. Before 1974, Ethiopia opened its doors to foreign investment, granting large concessions for gold, potash, and petroleum exploration. Government played a limited role, focusing mainly on issuing licenses, collecting royalties, and exporting raw materials with little attention to industrial development. These early efforts laid a foundation, but they were held back by weak institutions, lack of policy depth, and very limited geological data. And this gives us a clear lesson. Without strong institution, capacity, and value creation, resource wealth cannot deliver real impact. The 1974 revolution marked a complete shift to a state-led model. The sector was centralized under government control with the creation of national institutions to manage resources. A nationwide geological survey was done across the country, and there were efforts made to collaborate with socialist nations for technical support. But despite this ambition, progress was disrupted by the ongoing civil war. This era was defined by extensive exploration, but very little commercialization. Under the EPRDF, the sector was liberalized and reopened to global investors. Mining laws that aligned with international standards were introduced, creating the transparency needed to attract new investors and capital. And as a result, gold emerged as Ethiopia's fastest growing export. At the same time, tantalum production expanded, and the discovery of gemstones opened entirely new revenue streams for the sector. But despite that progress, deep structural challenges remained. Mining contributed less than 0.8% to GDP throughout all the years. The sector relied heavily on artisanal gold mining with limited diversification and almost no industrial scale. Informality and smuggling drained national revenue, and overall the sector underperformed, particularly in value addition and economic impact. When the reform government came into office in 2018, we made a very deliberate decision. Our natural resources will no longer remain underutilized and they will no longer be mismanaged. Once we fully understood the mineral and petroleum wealth that we have, we developed a strategy to utilize it. We shifted from talking about just potential to delivering tangible results. And for the first time in Ethiopia's history, mining was placed where it belonged, as a strategic pillar of our economy. Today, the sector is increasingly being positioned as a core driver of national growth and becoming a source of strength across agriculture and industrial development. There are often questions about the investment environment, and we've addressed those concerns directly through action, not just statements. We streamlined regulations to remove unnecessary barriers. We introduced digital systems to ensure transparency. The government is not just a regulator. We've strengthened partnerships with investors to reduce risk. We are open to investment, but we are also intentional. With these changes, we're building a system that rewards serious long-term commitment. In the past, for many years, we relied heavily on imports for materials that could be produced locally. And this really held back our economic growth. So we made a strategic shift toward greater domestic production and import substitution. And one of our biggest success stories is coal replacement. We used to spend over $300 million every year importing coal, but today that demand is being met entirely through domestic production. How do we do that? Well, simply by supporting local industry and unlocking private sector capacity. We applied the same approach in the cement sector. In just 8 years, production increased from 8 million to 14 million tons annually. This expansion stabilized the market, it has reduced supply shortages, and supported infrastructure development across the country. We're seeing the same momentum in construction materials as well. Local production of ceramics, granite, marble, and glass have increased significantly over the past few years. New ceramic factories are becoming operational, and this year we're on track to meet 100% of our domestic demand. These 2 ceramic factories are powered by locally produced natural gas, cutting diesel imports and reducing fuel costs by 40%. So this is what effective import substitution policy implementation looks like. And we're witnessing the impact on mining, agriculture, manufacturing, and other sectors as well. For many years, the gold sector faced persistent challenges, particularly around informality. We did not avoid those issues, we addressed them. Through decisive reform, the market has been formalized, and the results have been remarkable, as you can clearly see on these graphs. Last year, we generated $3.4 billion in gold exports. This year, we're exceeding $5.5 billion. This is a 5,000% increase from 2018. This is not just an incremental progress, but an incredible transformation. Our macroeconomic reform delivering in real times. And as discussed by my colleague, Dr. Ayoub earlier, we are driving export growth, generating critical foreign exchange, and strengthening the backbone of our economy. So when the question is asked whether reform is working, the answer is already visible, measurable, and undeniable. The majority contributors to gold production increase are artisanal miners, and we've supported them to upgrade from traditional way of mining to using different mining tools, larger machineries, and processing equipments. And incentives provided by National Bank of Ethiopia to miners really brought about the increase in production. But we're expanding beyond artisanal production. New large-scale mines are now operational, with additional projects expected to start production soon. This is how we build stability in the sector. This is how we scale responsibly, and this is how Ethiopia positions itself as a leading gold producer in the region. Artisanal mining of gemstones and industrial minerals has often been viewed as a challenge as well. We chose to approach it differently by formalizing and supporting miners, especially in the area of gemstones. We've increased productivity, improved incomes, and expanded exports. The results we're seeing are clear, both in production and in revenue. Ethiopia is now entering a new phase defined by industrial independence. To name a few of our future developments in the pipeline, Ethiopian Investment Holding, which is an entity that is a strategic investment arm of the government, has recently secured a mining license, one of the largest potash resources in the world, in the Afar region. We're also currently negotiating with a large US-based company, for the mining and processing of critical minerals. For many years, for over 30 years, tantalum, which is a critical mineral, was simply extracted and exported from this particular site as a raw material. But our new partnership aims to change that, ensuring our country benefits from the entire value chain. Another project in the pipeline is steel production. We spend over $1 billion every year importing steel materials, which is a huge burden on our foreign exchange reserves. So, as part of the import substitution policy, we recently signed an agreement to build our first steel plant using entirely domestic iron ore. This is how we move from extraction to value creation. The petroleum sector has also been under transformation. For many years, it remained at the exploration stage, Oil and gas was discovered over 50 years ago, but the sector has not been able to advance to commercialization stage. We moved it forward. We completed reserve assessments, defined a monetization strategy, and made a critical policy decision to prioritize domestic utilization instead of 100% export. That shift is already delivering results. A few months ago, we inaugurated the first liquefied natural gas plant in Ethiopia. For the production from this plant will be used in our transportation and industrial sectors. Specialized transport trucks have been deployed. We have built 3 LNG fueling stations across the Djibouti to Addis Ababa corridor. And for over 1,500 city buses, we're converting their engines from diesel to LNG. Now, what does this mean? This will improve efficiency for the transportation sector and ease the cost burden on our citizens. Another sector we identified that could leverage from our locally produced natural gas is the agricultural sector. For the 40 million farmers who depend on imported fertilizer for food production, we spend over $2 billion, and that number is expected to grow annually. So last year, we signed an agreement to build Ethiopia's first natural gas-based fertilizer plant in a joint venture with 40% government ownership. Once completed within the next 29-30 months, this plant will have the capacity to exceed our current domestic demand. And as part of the project, we are also building a dedicated natural gas pipeline to directly supply the fertilizer plant. This multi-billion-dollar mega facility will not only transform the agricultural sector, but it will drive massive job creation and long-term industrial skills development that will empower our young technicians and engineers. Energy imports have long been a challenge for our economy because we import 100% of the petroleum products that we use. We're changing that path step by step. We're going to expand the LNG plant, and we've started the construction for an oil refinery. These are large, complex projects, but they're moving forward with clear direction, and once construction is completed, their impact will be significant. The production from these projects will substitute 60% of the diesel imports. With mining-ready infrastructure expanding, Ethiopia is opening itself to the world. We're connecting our resources to global markets through rail, roads, and air, while powering our growth with abundant, low-cost energy. For companies in the petroleum and mining industry, this means one thing: lower cost, lower risk, and a clear path to scale. But growth must be responsible. So securing a social license is very important and a core requirement for all investors. Companies must contribute annually to development funds that support the community where they operate, and they are also required to complete an environmental and social impact assessment before entering a site, allowing for transparency and sustainability. In the past 8 years, we've made measurable progress and repositioned the sector from what was considered in the past as a resource curse into a key pillar of Ethiopia's economic engine. We formalized a largely informal sector, we strengthened oversight, we improved transparency, and we advanced key strategic projects through active state leadership. These are not isolated achievements. They are part of a clear and consistent direction. Looking ahead, our focus is very clear. We will continue to strengthen policy, we will continue to expand production, and we will deepen industrial linkages. By 2030, we expect mining exports to exceed $10 billion, with significant savings from import substitution. This is not ambition alone. It is a track we are actively building to position Ethiopia as the region's economic hub and to be in the top 5 mining countries in Africa. As I close, I will leave you with this. As mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, Ethiopia has world-class mineral and petroleum resources. This wealth beneath the soil is a one-time endowment. Managed wisely, it can fund schools, hospitals, and industries for a century. Managed poorly, will be irreversibly lost, leaving a legacy of missed opportunity and national regret. The reform government will not merely be known for crafting mining policies, but defined by its delivery on industrial growth, resource transformation, and national prosperity. Thank you.